Okay, let's talk about Japan's property market. On the surface, it looks like it's absolutely on fire. I mean, transactions are through the roof at a pace we haven't seen in forever. But when you dig into the data from September 2025, you find this really weird puzzle, something that seems to fly in the face of basic economics. So today, we're going to unpack that mystery. Let's just start with one number, a really big one, plus 37.9%. Think about that for a second. That is the year-over-year explosion in sales for existing detached houses across all of Japan. A number that big, that's not just a hot market. No way. That's a full-on firestorm of buying and selling.
And you know, this isn't some small statistical blip we can just ignore. A nearly 40% jump, that's huge. It means the market is just absolutely buzzing. Buyers, sellers, everyone's making moves like we haven't seen in a very, very long time. The demand? It's undeniable. It is incredibly strong.
Okay, so to really figure out what's going on here, we've got to start with a big picture, right? Let's take a look at the national numbers first, just to set a baseline for everything else.
And wow, right away, things get interesting. We see this fascinating split. So yeah, sales are way up for everything, but the prices, they're telling two totally different stories. Condominium prices, they've shot up by 13%, but detached houses, they've barely moved, just a 1% increase.
So let's drill down into those detached houses a little bit more. The average price, it's sitting at just under 27 million yen. And yeah, the price growth is slow, but it's been steady for 5 straight months. But check out the transactions. That's the wild part. 29 straight months of growth. So what's the big takeaway here? The national market is stable, it's active, and it looks like buyers are really shifting their focus to smaller, more affordable places. Okay, now this is where the story gets really interesting. Because when we zoom in from that broad national picture and focus just on the Tokyo metro area, well, the story gets a whole lot more complicated. First, just look at this sales frenzy. I mean, we thought that national growth of almost 38% was huge, right? But in Tokyo, it's a staggering 55%. The demand for detached houses in and around the capital isn't just hot, it is white hot. It's way more intense than what we're seeing anywhere else in the country. But here it is. This is the paradox. With sales volumes just smashing records, you'd think prices would be going through the roof, right? But instead, for detached homes in Tokyo, they're actually falling, down almost 4%. This, right here, is the central puzzle we need to solve.
So the big question is, how is that even possible? How can a market be booming with sales but slumping on price at the exact same time? It just feels like it breaks the most basic rules of economics, doesn't it?
Well, to figure this out, we've got to go back to the basics, like Econ 101 basics, supply and demand. It's that simple idea that price is just a balancing act, between how much stuff is available and how many people actually want to buy it. And that is the key to unlocking this whole Tokyo paradox. So here's exactly how it breaks down. Step 1, the inventory in Tokyo is just swelling. There are way more houses for sale now. And this isn't some new thing. It's a trend that's been building for over 3 years straight. So what happens? The power dynamic completely shifts. It moves right over to the buyers. With so many more options to choose from, they can afford to be pickier. And that, in turn, puts a ton of downward pressure on prices.
So, let's put all the pieces of the puzzle together. What is the big takeaway here? What does this massive difference between Tokyo and the rest of Japan really mean? When you look at it side by side, it's so clear. On the national level, the story is pretty straightforward. You've got super strong demand, and that's driving a hot market. Simple. But in Tokyo, you've got even stronger demand, but it's being completely overshadowed by this huge growth in inventory. All these new houses on the market, that supply-side pressure is the single biggest reason for this really unique price drop.
So what happens next? Well, as the experts are pointing out, this is a really fluid situation. The future is going to hinge on those big picture economic factors, things like interest rate policies and just the general economic vibe. It's definitely a situation that everyone has their eyes on right now.
And that leaves us with one final, really big question to think about. We've just seen how a flood of new houses for sale actually cooled down the prices in Tokyo's red-hot market. So is Tokyo just a weird outlier? Or is it a preview of what's about to happen in the rest of Japan? That right there is the question that's going to define this market for a long time to come.